I met people, good people, and I was on the run, and I finished up in Birmingham. And I first of all got to Liverpool, and Liverpool wasn't really somewhere where I saw much opportunity of earning money. And then I dropped down to Birmingham, and I got to meet some people down there, and I got offered a job on the doors. So I was working there on the door. Then other things came along, and so I got to meet quite a few people. And one day, a friend of mine, a Jewish guy, Kenny, he had a row with some people, and I stepped in and helped him, and we became very good friends. And he had a appear at the Old Bailey, and I went there to see the trial, and afterwards went down to the cells to see him. His mother was down there, and I didn't know what was going to happen. He went, Chris, he said, I want you to take this jewellery. And I went, why? And he said, Pam. I knew exactly what he wanted me to do, was take all his jewellery and give it to his wife or to his girlfriend. But his mother said, what do you want to give him the jewellery for? You know, it belongs to the family. He said, no, I want Chris to have it. And I took it when I left there and gave it to his girlfriend, who was waiting in a cafe. And so, you know, he introduced me to different people. Then I met other people, and so it expanded. And I then met other top criminals who I don't like to name, and got involved with them in different things, long-firm fraud, which I starting a company up, and then doing a runner, you know, ordering everything from everywhere. And you've got solid bank accounts, but all of a sudden the bank accounts are only there to prepare for the runner. And then from there, I got into gambling, and I knew who was running gambling. And it wasn't drinking clubs or anything else that anybody was interested in. It was gambling. It just started off, but there was big money in it. And Birmingham, the car industry had just taken off there in a massive way. So everybody had money, lots of money. And it was twice as good as London, the club scene and everything else. So, I mean, I was living off the top, and I got to meet all these different people that had problems at their club. I'd go and sort the problem out. And, you know, I'd be on, like, it weren't protection money as such. You were just looking after the club, and they appreciated what you were doing, and they'd give you the readies. I'd play cards, poker. I'd do the roulette wheels and things like that. And half of it we could get to the croupiers. The Krays got to hear about me, and they said I'd gone down to meet a guy to buy some American dollars. And he turned around, didn't turn up. So I'm standing at a bus stop because my car's in the garage being repaired. And a guy called Ronnie Bender came by, who I knew, good guy. And he went, Chris, what are you doing now? I said, I'm waiting for a bus. He said, come on, I'll give you a lift. Did he give me a lift home? So we got talking about it. He was an ex-soldier, regular at army and all that kind of thing. Really good guy. And, well, I went home, had a cup of tea, knock on the door. And I went to the door, it's Ronnie Bender. And he said, Chris, he said, the twins want to meet her. I went, Ronnie, do you need a few quid? You can have a few quid. I don't want to meet them. Because they weren't very well liked by the underworld. That's the truth. Because people, when they got hold of money, they'd read in the paper somebody had just had it off, snatch, bank robbery or whatever. They'd go straight in and want their corner. So really, they were called thieves' ponces, and people had them there. So when I'm saying to Ronnie Bender, I don't want him involved in my world, really. But he said to me, your brother Tony's down there. I didn't know Tony was on their firm. So, because I lived in Birmingham, I came down every 2 weeks, saw my dad, and then went back to Birmingham, stayed the night and that. Anyway, Tony, went down there, and they were polite. I never ever see them get, you know, brutal with anybody or want to hurt anybody. They were always perfect gentlemen. And they said, Chris, we understand, like, you're in Birmingham, you've got some stuff going. Wonder if you'd help us out. So I said, how? They said, we're opening a club in Leicester. Would you be interested in bringing some people over? So I said, yeah, I think I can do that. So I went away from there and went to their club, had a look around. It was nice, Gav. Started to take people over there, people who spend money. And they were doing rather well. But then Charlie Kray said to me, we were good pals, he said, Chris, he said, don't tell them, he said, what we're getting. He said, because they'll want it before we've even got it. Because they could spend money like water. And that was the way they were. And so anyway, the fact was that one day we're at a party, and Billy Hill's nephew was another good pal of mine, Mickey Riley. They started on Mickey because they thought he knew, and he was telling me to keep my mouth shut. But he wasn't. It was their own brother was saying to me, Chris, tell them nothing. because they'll want it before we got it. So anyway, everything was going well. I had a car pitch up there. I had my own car wash. I had all this kind of stuff going on. I was earning a lot of money. And a mate of mine, Ray Mills, said to me, Chris, he said, I'm going down to London at the weekend. Do you want to come with me? And I said, well, what do you mean, come with you? He said, well, you can meet my brother, Alan, and I'll meet your brother, Tony. And I went, no, I was down there last week. Another time we'll do this, Ray. And he went, please, just let's have this one time. I thought, oh, come on. I'm always going against your better judgment. I should have gone my intuition. But I didn't. I went down there. We met in Limehouse. We went from Limehouse to a place called the Marquis of Cornwallis on the Bethnal Green Road. And Mrs. Kray, old Charlie Kray, the twins, Charlie, and all them were there. Went in, we had a drink. It was an occasion for the old lady. It could have been her birthday. So we spent some time there, pay our respects, come out, and we go to the Queen's Pub on the Hackney Road. We have a nice drink there. So by this time, we're kind of well tanked up. So Tony said to me, look, Chris, let's go to the Regency. I said, look, I don't want to go to the Regency. I want to go to the West End, the bestseller, because plenty of birds down there. Atmosphere's good. Let's go there. And he went, no, let's just go to the Regency. They've never been there. Let's show them what it's like. And we went there, and we're having a drink, and Jack the Hat comes up to me. He said, there's a party. He said, are you going? I said, well, it's first I've heard about it. And the next thing I know is I get an invite to this party. So it must be about 12:30 now. So my car was chock-a-blocked in. There was no way you could get out. But Jack's car was able to go in his car. We got in his car and we got in the Regency Club. Evelyn Road, which is maybe 2 or 3 streets away. We gone there, gone up to the door. Their cousin, Ronnie Hart, opened the door. And we go in, go down the stairs, and Jack is in front of us. He runs straight into the room. Where's the birds? Where's the party? And then an argument starts. Reggie Kay pulls a shooter out, which he's admitted in his book he did. And it didn't work. I thought it was a frightener, but I didn't like what was going on because this shouldn't be happening. So I turned round to a guy called Connie Whitehead. I said, Connie, I don't want none of this, I'm going. And he went, Ronnie Kray came out. I said, what's the matter with Chris? He said he wants to go. He wants no part. And Ronnie said, take him home. So Connie Whitehead dropped me off home. I'm sitting there with my dad. I'm having a cup of coffee. And I think Tony's there. And I've always been very careful about Tony. So I had a shooter there, 38 Webley. I went and got it, put it in my pocket, and got a taxi down to the Regency, got my car, and went to Evelyn Road. I went up, knocked to the door, and Ronnie Bender came up. I said, Ron, is Tony there? He went, no, Chris. He said, he's gone. And I went to turn away, and he said, Chris, he said, please, don't leave me. I went, what do you mean, Lee? He said, they've killed him. I said, no, not in front of all them people. He said, he's dead, he's downstairs. I went, Ronnie, I don't want no part of this. He went, please, he said, don't leave me. And I looked at him, and I thought, you're a guy who's been in the army, straight guy. I said, where are they? Where's the twins? He said, they've run away. And I thought, they may have run away, but I'm going to help you. And I went inside, went downstairs, and there was a body laying on the floor. And I thought, when you walk down there, there's no noise or anything. I thought he's gonna stand up in a minute. It's gonna be all right. I wanted him to get back on his feet. And I wanted it not to have happened. And when I looked at it, you've got to face the reality of what has happened. I went outside and got some socks that were in a washing basket in the kitchen, brought them in. I gave Ronnie a pair. I put them on. We began to tidy the place up. So now I'm walking up the stairs, and who should come back but a woman called Blonde Carol. And she said, hello, Chrissy, how are you? I said, I'm all right. I said, you can't go downstairs. I said, there's been a little bit of a argy-bargy, I said, and we're having a tidy up. But I've got a bucket full of water and blood in my hand, and she saw it. And now I know she saw it because she gave evidence to the fact. So I've already been up to the bedroom previous to that and got an eider down, which is downstairs. We wrapped Jack up in it, went upstairs again because facing the house was on a side street was a bagel place, which is Jewish, like roll things. And all the cab drivers in them days were Jewish, most of them anyway. And they were all there going all through the night. So we got to find a place where there's no traffic about to get that body out and get it in the boot. So finally there's a break and we try to get the body in the boot. 6-foot man, you can't get him in the boot. So we put him on the back seat. Then we go back inside, we have a tidy up. And I said to Ronnie Bender, I said, look, Ron, you're going to drive the car. And he went, Chris, I'm not driving that car. not with that body in. I said, well, do you think Tony's doing it? He ain't. Because Tony, by that time, had come back. Because he'd gone home and my dad had turned around and told him I'd gone looking for him. Anyway, the thing that happened was Tony stepped forward and said, I'll drive it. I went, Tony, you crazy? He went, no, I'll drive it. So Ronnie Bender and I got into my car. Tony got into the car with Jack the Hat in, and we followed him down to Mare Street. But going down to Mare Street, a police car dropped in behind Tony. Now, I am now worried that them police are going to stop Tony. And if they do, I've got to shoot them. I've got a gun on me. So if I say that there's a comedy of errors, there's a tragedy of errors. A man goes down to a party, there's 16 people there, they kill him in front of them 16 people. Apparently, because the gun didn't work, his cousin, Ronnie Hart, went and got a knife from the kitchen and put it into his hand. Ronnie Hart went up the Old Bailey, turned Queen's Evidence, didn't do a day, and had a reputation or a criminal past as long as anybody else. He was as guilty as Reggie Kray for what he did. He didn't do a day. So anyway, what happened then was, we driving along, they turn off the police, and we carry on. We go through the Rotherhithe Tunnel, we lose Tony. Driving around, I finally found him outside the church. The car had run out of petrol, or he said so. So on the pavement by the car, it's confetti, it's everywhere. And the thing was that I thought he'd be safe. The people would be going to church in the morning, they'd see the body in the car, and they call the police. And we'd taken it out of East London, put it in South London. So they'd think that whatever happened over that side of the water. That was the plan. We leave there, Ronnie Bender goes, drop him off. We don't know what he's going to do. He goes and sees Charlie Kray. Charlie Kray tells the twins involve somebody else to move the body, and it is a bloody nightmare. That's exactly what happened. So then, we carry on as normal. I go round the Mills brothers and other people and tell them, keep calm, it's all covered over, things are going to be okay. Things are going to be okay. We don't know that the firm is crumbling. I was never part of it, but, it was crumbling. They were all backbiting each other and all the rest of it. And so they started nicking people, and they nicked the twins, and they put them in jail. So I know they ain't going to say nothing about me. So I feel fairly confident that me not being associated with them, living in Birmingham, I'm safe. But I think to myself, well, I'm going to go abroad. So I talked to a mate of mine, Johnny Hunt, and Johnny said, yeah, we'll leave tomorrow. And we were all set to go, but he'd been messing about, and his wife got angry and all the rest of it. And he said, Chris, I can't go. Not with her the way she is. So that stranded me. So I went about my business as normal. The police arrested me in Walsall. I was living in a hotel there, and brought me down to London, and talked to me, took me to a place called Tintagel House on the Embankment. They talked to me, said, we don't want to arrest you. We know you had nothing to do with this. Tell us about it. And I said, I can't tell you that. I don't know what you're talking about. Party? What party? There's never any party. Anyway, give me what's the name, his card, Nipper Reed. And he said, look, there's my number. Give me a call, and we can sort all this out. Neither you nor any of your family would do any time. I'll give you my word. Anyway, I left there. What I did was made a stupid mistake. I thought I'd go and mark Violet's card, the twins' mum. So she'd be up visiting them and she'd tell them what happened. But there's this mother looking at me and saying, please, Chris, don't tell me, go and tell them. Please, I'm asking you. They're my boys. Everybody's deserted them. Please go and talk to them. And it was like listening to my own mum. This was a mother making a plea to me. And I don't know, I'd let my own mother down so many times. Was I going to let this one down? No. So I'll go to Brixton with her, and a girl called Carol, Reggie's girlfriend. And I saw myself in as Mickey Mouse, thinking I'm being clever. But I go in, and Charlie Kray looks at me and says, I say, Chris, you shouldn't be here. This is the last place you should be. But Reggie and Ronnie, Chris, great to see you. You're looking well, blah, 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 how's things going, and all the rest of it. So I said, look, be careful. I've just been to a place called Tintagel House yesterday. They've got photographs of everybody on a board there, names and people marked off and all the rest of it. There's something very serious going down here. And I've told you, that's the best I can do. Chris, great, thank you very much. Keep stum. I said, don't have to tell me to keep stum. I'll see you later. Anyway, left the visiting room, drove home with Mrs. Kray and, what's her name? Carol dropped them off at Bun Hill Road, and then went away and was living life as normal. And about 2 weeks later, the police came up to Birmingham, shooted up and everything, took me on the, what's the name, at the Elbow Room, as I'm coming down the Elbow Room, and brought me back down to London. So I said to one of the coppers, what are you nicking me for? And he went, fucking virgins out of season. Well, that actually happened. I was in the police inspector's house, because I knew his son, and him and I had pulled a couple of birds, and we'd gone back there, and I thought that's what they were nicking me for. But apparently that was definitely not what they were nicking me for. It was that. So take me back down to London, to Tintagel House, heavily escorted. Go in there, and Nipperee turns around and says, right, he said, you was in Brixton a couple of weeks ago, weren't you? What were you doing there? I said, went up to see the twins. After seeing me? I said, yeah. He said, do you want to talk to me? I said, no. I ain't got anything to say to you. I said, there was no party. I don't know what you're talking about. And I could see him, he was getting angry. And he was playing with a gun. And he ran round the table and smashed me over the head with it. And I said, yeah, is that what you do? I know that he wants me to react. And I'm thinking, if I don't react, he ain't got nothing. He's so frustrated, he's banged me with that gun to get a reaction, and I'm not going to give him it. So anyway, I could see him getting angrier and angrier, and he turned round to Inspector Cater and he went, charge him. And Cater went, charge him? He said, yeah, with murder. He wants to be with the Krays, we'll make sure he goes down with the Krays. And that's exactly what happened.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please join our Facebook group. It's called Krays Crime Lords of London. We're a friendly moderated group with over 1,000 Kray and other celebrated gangster videos available for view. There's also thousands of images in the photos sections. The link for the group is in the YouTube description section. I hope we see you there soon.